This is Mark Perlmutter. Hand surgery, I want to show you the difference between a dorsal ganglion wrist cyst and extensor tenosynovitis. It's an easy distinction to make, and treating them conservatively is the key because it's effective almost 100% of the time. I'm going to mask up, get close to the patient, and I'll show you in a second how to diagnose it and treat it conservatively. Okay, everybody, we're back to the patient, masked up. This is the mass on the outside of her wrist. It looks very much like a dorsal ganglion cyst. This is a chlorhexidine prep swab. The difference between this and a ganglion cyst is this, in making this diagnosis. First of all, the pathology exists along the sheath of these extensor tendons. That sheath or sleeve does not extend all the way down to the knuckles. Indeed, it stops pretty much at the over the length of the metacarpals, which is about here. The way that we make the diagnosis is if we flex the fingers at the metacarpal phalangeal joint. Let's make a fist, darling. There you go. Relax your thumb for a second. It looks like a classic ganglion cyst. The difference is that I can put pressure on it and you can see it bulge out a little bit. Now, as she straightens out her fingers, what I want you to watch is that when she straightens it out, these tendons are going to be pulling proximally. And so that takes the sheath, which anchors to the tendon, and it also goes proximally, and you'll see the edge of this cyst square off. Now, straighten out your fingers. And if you look at that, there's a distinct squared off edge right here. Now straighten them out even more, and you can see that it's even more squared off. And as she makes a fist again, the tendons are now moving distally, and that cyst is dragged distally with it. And there are more subtle presentations with less fluid, but it will always square off. If there's any confusion, you can inject it, like as I did with her, with numbing medicine. Wait a little bit before you give the steroid shot, which I'm going to do now for its conservative management. And even the addition of numbing medicine blows up the cyst a little bit more and makes the diagnosis easier to understand. Again, you can see how it drags down, and then if I straighten out the fingers, it squares off fairly substantially. So the treatment for it is, and just relax your wrist, darling, it's already been numbed up. To keep it clean, I use chlorhexidine and alcohol. My spot of numbing was here. I'll go into the body of the cyst and inject in a non-diabetic 6/6Es of betamethasone and in a diabetic 3. And of course, there's other variables like what's their A1C, what's their diabetes control. But for the average well-controlled diabetes, I always cut it in half. Even if it requires them coming back in several weeks for a repeat injection, but I won't overload them with a steroid in one setting. A wrist control splint helps, and I always prescribe a compounded 3% diclofenac cream, which I find effective. I do not find 1% over-the-counter Voltaren, or even, I believe it's still a prescription Pensade effective. 3% is, I do find effective to augment the steroid treatment, and it doesn't invite their liver, kidney, or stomach to the party, so it's safe for people who cannot otherwise tolerate NSAIDs. Well, thank you very much. I hope you found this blog informational. Have a good day.